is connected. Energy, science, quantum physics. This beautiful practice of being rooted in the frequency of love, light, and unity. We are inviting the collective consciousness to awaken and ascend. Hello. Welcome to Rooted Frequency, where we ground down into the beautiful light that is you, one frequency at a time. I'm your host, Tiffany Haney. My apologies if I sound a little gruffy, but I have a bit of a cold and I still wanted to be able to record for you. So hopefully, as I know I've joked before, I'm finding that sexy phlegm versus annoying. And if you don't know what I'm referring to, you probably think I'm crazy. I'm okay with that. Today, we're diving into something that feels very alive for me right now. The way ancient wisdom continues to guide us in our modern world. Even though I close the doors of my physical business, Rooted is still very much alive. It's just a different type of alive. And I want to think of it as a more expansive and more aligned way. And I'm still doing readings, meditations, and through these readings and the crystal sales and the community we're building over on Patreon, Rooted has become something beyond just four walls. And over the summer, something that kept showing up again in my readings for others was their ancestors. Every session, in some way, ancestral line has spoken. And as we move closer to spooky season, that sacred time when the veil between dimensions thins, this message feels even more important. This is a window where we can connect more deeply with those who came before us, for healing our lineage and preparing ourselves for what's ahead. So here's your thought to start. What if the real key to your spiritual growth isn't in the latest app, book, or hack, but in the rituals our ancestors practiced thousands of years ago? And I know part of you is like, duh, but we know this on a deep level, right? Like, we know there's a reason why they've been doing these things for so long. We know why there is ritual that has continued through the ages, but everyone's still questioning, well, what do I do for this? What do I do for that? So we're going to talk about it. Because we live in a culture obsessed with what's new. The next thing that you can download to your phone to help you breathe. The next quick fix, and that's beyond spirituality. The next quick fix for hair growth or whatever shiny thing that you want. But maybe what we actually need is to remember. To return to the rituals that carried our ancestors through life, death, joy, grief, and everything in between. So today, as we prepare for this season of deeper connection, can you believe it? It's already September. That's a whole separate thing on the fast forwarding of time. Have we felt that? That can be a short we do another time. But I want to take you on a journey to the ancient rituals, not in a boring way. Don't worry, we're not repeating a bunch of crap that you've heard before. I want you to understand how they still matter, how they can help you now, and how you can actually weave them into your own life. We want to feel more rooted, more present, and more awake. There is definitely something happening in the cosmos right now. We're experiencing a lot of shifts, and I believe this is just the beginning. I think that synchronicities are going to pick up more. I believe that all of the sensations where everything's surreal. It doesn't feel real, or you feel out of place, or you're like, what is happening? And then it clicks away. It's like a little glimpse or something. The earth is waking up. We are feeling into this. We are feeling into this connection of the earth awakening. We've always sought connection as humans to the earth, to the cosmos, and to each other. We are natural social beings. We crave closeness, we crave belonging. But what's beneath all of that? What is the reason we want to connect with others and belong? Isn't it so that we can feel like we're not alone? So we can relate to one another? It's like this constant background noise that is on our minds, whispering, why am I here? What is my purpose? What the hell is this all for? Why am I struggling? There better be a frickin' end game after this, or I quit. Prayer can guide us, and meditation can center us. But there is another constant, the earth itself. Always here, always beneath our feet, a foundation that roots us into truth and reminds us that every spiritual practice begins with presence in this world, mindfulness, presence. And if the earth is moving, is it still a constant? Yes, it's still there. Sort of like having a person in your life that is growing, but you could grow apart. So grounding into ritual is so important right now. You want to grow with the earth. And we've always heard how important rituals are. In Vedic India, sun salutations, it's not just an exercise in yoga, it's about devotion, aligning the body, cosmic order. Native Americans expressed gratitude to the four directions and the elements. So they're honoring the natural world. We've seen how Egyptians built temples that aligned with the stars, solar cycles, but also these energetic vortexes that are very powerful. And the Celts marked fire festivals tied to the seasons. So they celebrated these changes that the earth was going through, celebrating eternal dance of life, death, and rebirth. So I know we're aware of these things, but have you ever thought about how the earth feels that we've pretty much stopped these traditions? Like, I don't think that having Earth Day is satisfying her. These practices that they did weren't about superstition or getting a day off work. They were about soul. And this is still relevant today because we aren't that different from then. We're still searching, still yearning for connection, and we want meaning in this world that's changing all around us. After closing my business, I felt lost. And instead of forcing myself to push through, as I was getting advice all around me to do, I allowed myself to sit in the sadness, to honor the heaviness, because the lows of life are not something that we should be trying to escape. The lows carry the wisdom. Sometimes we need to feel the darkness in order to uncover the light. What eventually helped me wasn't this massive breakthrough where I can say this one thing really pushed me through. It was simple. I got back to ritual. Small acts repeated with intention. I'm always talking to you about intention. I stated affirmations in the morning. I would pull tarot cards for guidance. And really, it was just about this touch point of connection. And also being still, sitting with my feelings, sitting with my breath, journaling whatever came through, without any judgment, without trying to analyze it, but instead just letting it come out. But something that did happen that really has grown since then over the summer and now, I began paying really close attention to my dreams. And you always hear about people telling you to dream journal, and a lot of people don't do it. But you hear that the more you do it, the more things open up, and it is true. I am journaling my dreams every single day, and I keep having more and more profound things come through the dreams. And a lot of it seems to be wisdom via guides and ancestors. What a wonderful way to have that spiritual touch point while we rest and recharge. Dreams are one of the most powerful ways that our ancestors can speak to us because it's a bridge during this time, a bridge between our subconscious and this spirit world. Most of you have likely had those dreams that linger when you wake, either like a feeling, even if you can't remember it, or maybe a symbol, or just something that you feel was more significant than just you sleeping or your brain decompressing. Those are often messages from our subconscious, from our guides, things that can help us in this journey. They're guidance, reminders, and even blessings that can come through. So when I leaned into these simple practices, ritual, analyzing my dreams, I realized that I wasn't just doing it for self-care. I was stepping into something timeless, an ancient impulse that returned to simple yet sacred, the ritual. It became a true turning point for me. So while talking about ritual may not be the juiciest of episodes, it is one of the most beneficial if you actually follow through. Some of my ideas that I usually give to people in order to make ritual and checking in with yourself feel doable, because I know all of our lives are crazy. They're all busy. You can take the morning to step outside and ground your feet. Just step on the earth. It can even be 30 seconds. Also, take a moment for gratitude. So whether you're outside and you can face the sunlight, take a deep breath and say thank you for this life. Even this morning, I just walked around and looked at my kitchen and thought, I'm so thankful for my beautiful kitchen. And while that may sound superficial, the point is, yes, of course, we go deeper. You set aside time when you can. But if that's the only thing and you forget and you get in your car and you're on your way to work and you just think, I'm so lucky to have my job. I am so lucky to have amazing coworkers. I feel so blessed. It's a ritual. We also should definitely be dream journaling. Keep a notebook by your bed, or I always just put everything in my phone in the Notes app. All of the things that I remember. Over time, patterns emerge. Your subconscious is speaking to you. Another way that our ancestors would incorporate mindfulness was this mindful eating. So before a meal, pausing, offering gratitude to the earth. If there's meat, offering gratitude to the animal's sacrifice. Gratitude for how your body will digest and take in those nutrients, or, the salad from the earth. Gratitude even to the hands that made it. In the evening, we naturally crave release. That's why you might want to have a glass of wine, or you might want to sit on the couch and watch a mindless television show where you can just decompress and not think about anything. So try to incorporate some sort of evening release, and it can be just taking 5 breaths. I release my day. If you're feeling the journaling, write down what's heavy. Maybe you light candles before you put on that television show. And as you light the candle, say, I release any energy stuck to me. I release any energy that doesn't serve me. I go into this evening empty, ready to refresh and renew. So many different ways that we can say it. Whatever comes to you, there's no wrong way. And the reason we need to keep talking about this is because we live in a time that on the surface we're hyper connected. We're always available. You know, people assume if they text you, they should have access to your time and you should immediately get back to them. So we're always having the buzz going off on our phones, scrolling, constant notifications, news at our fingertips. But underneath that buzzing, many of us feel spiritually there's more to explore. We're craving more. And the more plugged into society we are, the less rooted we feel. Ancient rituals are the antidote. Where technology pushes us into speed and comparison, ritual slows us down. It restores the meaning. We don't want to go through life without meaning. Thousands of years ago, it was easier. Ritual was daily life, lighting the fire, sharing in food, honoring the moon. Today, it's quick connections, quick interactions, quick little, hits of dopamine, and not wanting any of the lows. But we really can reclaim the ritual. We can bring rhythm back to our lives, reverence, intention, bridging the ages. Bringing back and remembering these practices that still heal and ground us today. Let's bring a little science into this, because you know that I love a science is backing spirituality moment. Because it shows to people who are the naysayers, but also that part of our brain that questions what we believe. But it shows definitively that, like, our ancestors knew intuitively the answers. And now we have that benefit of following the intuition ourselves if we can trust it, but also following the science if we want to bridge it. Neuroscience has shown that gratitude actually rewires the brain. So you're not just giving thanks. You're not just speaking out into the void. You are rewiring the way that your brain operates so that you can boost your dopamine and your serotonin without drugs. I mean, that's pretty much what they push on us now, right? When the answer is right in front of us, as simple as giving thanks. Of course, I always like to make a note that at different times in your life, you may need medication. I'm not opposed to it. I want people to be okay in the moment too. And sometimes our lows are, far more significant than our ancestors experienced. So don't deny yourself medicine. But if you have to do that, do this too. We want to not just put a Band-Aid on things. We want to heal from within. Our ancestors were giving thanks to the sun, to the harvests. This was shifting our consciousness long before we called it neuroplasticity. Ritual calms our nervous system. When we do these types of repetitive acts, like when we drum or chant, that's why we do breath, it activates the parasympathetic system. It lowers our stress hormones. So when you hear about people lighting a candle and breathing or chanting, they're not just spiritual practices. We are actually resetting the body. There's also the fact that symbolic acts can actually create closure. I know I've spoken in the past to the importance of placing symbols to different spiritual concepts, like the way that things feel in the body, because it makes it more real, bringing that substance to something that seems like you can't grasp. and it makes it easier for our brains to connect. In psychology, they call this symbolic substitution. So these fire ceremonies, burials, offerings, these acts help the subconscious process release in a more substantial way than just thinking that you want to release it. So adding in that little physical ritual can be very powerful. We hear a lot about dopamine, the vagus nerve, or even cognitive closure. To our ancestors, it was prayer, ceremony, offering. Different language, same truth. And doesn't one seem much easier to wrap your mind around? Why are we ignoring the ritual? This intuition that they had, they were basically scientists of the unseen, refining soul technology over generations. So here is the key takeaway. Depth doesn't come from quick fixes. We often are on Instagram and TikTok and we see these spiritual packages, these retreats, 7-day resets, viral challenges, transformations that you can do in 30 days with this magic supplement. And they get us excited. And sometimes they can be good to get us started. But real transformation takes time. Healing ancestral trauma takes devotion, patience, and consistency. When we show up regularly and personalize these rituals, make them actually doable within our busy schedules, they feel authentic, they feel sustainable. And that is where the deep shifts within us happen. The magic is never in the act alone. There's no magical fix. It's in the meaning. That's why even if people practice spells and rituals may be witchcrafty, they still have intention. They're not just willy-nilly saying something, lighting a candle, and poof. There's intention behind every single thing. Lighting a candle, you can do that for protection. You can also do it for clarity or for calling in light. So we have to be intentional with why we're lighting that candle. And so long as we are very intentional and it resonates, there's really no wrong thing you can use or wrong way you can work with something. And I can't push writing in a journal enough. Not only can it help spiritual growth, but it is great for release or anchoring in something that you envision, that you want to manifest, for understanding what is happening within you and without. If we look at that in conjunction with modern viral trends for spirituality, ritual can flip the fact that these things feel hollow. Because putting intention and simple acts infused with the intention ripple through us, ripple through time, healing us, and because it's rippling through time, heal those who came before us so that we are also clearing for generations after us. Yes, you can go on the retreat. Yes, you can do the supplement. Make sure you are doing it, though, not because someone beautiful and shiny told you to do it, but because it resonates and you're putting intention behind it. You're using that opportunity to create meaning, to create ritual. On another note, ritual was never meant to be done alone. Our ancestors met around fire circles. It was a whole community that healed together and shared stories collectively. Luckily, we do have access to a lot of information, so I do think modern technology is helpful in that when you're going through something, you can jump on YouTube and type it in and find a million people that give different scenarios to help or different things that they're going through, so we don't feel alone. But having a community to also share and reflect, we need that mirror of guidance. We have to have what we think and feel reflected back to us. because that's what the universe is doing. Everything that we think and feel and everything that we vibrate, all of the sensations, those things are being reflected back to us. That's manifestation. We need to get out of thinking that followers equals connection. Although I will say that's hard, especially in podcasting, because you would assume if you helped people and you connected with them, that they would want to subscribe, that they would want to tune in every week. But it's not always that simple. And we can't judge our ability to reach others based on a number. Which is why most of these podcasters have communities, have Patreon and things, because the real community help everyone feel supported, held. These concepts, these things we're talking about, it's all being witnessed. So whether you have one of these communities, the circle of people, or a mentor, or just someone who's a spiritual friend that you always go to with all of these things, that's an authentic connection. And that is the deepest ancestral healing move you can make. Before we close this today, I want you to pause for a simple ritual that we can do together. Wherever you are, as long as it's safe to do so, you can close your eyes. We're going to take a deep breath. If your legs are crossed, uncross them. Feel your feet on the ground. Imagine roots extending deep into the earth. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, send that breath down through those roots, down into the earth. And I want you to think or say aloud, thank you. And picture in your mind one thing in your life right now. Place a hand over your heart, still picturing anything that comes to mind. Breathe this in. Release that image. And on your next inhale, bring up one thing you're worried about. The first thing that comes to mind that you're worried about, inhale that. And I want you to think about exhaling it. Let it out. Release it. Release one worry today. Not all your worries. We're releasing one worry. And it may be released just for the hour. It may work for 5 minutes. Either way, you're doing the work. Take one more breath in, breathing in light. And one final breath out for release. So simple, powerful, and timeless. This is ritual. This is how simple it can be. So as I leave you today, I want to encourage you to choose one ritual this week. It could be greeting the sun in the morning, grounding in the morning, journaling your dreams, journaling your thoughts, journaling your fears to let them out and release. It could be offering gratitude at meals, releasing your worries into flame. Pick one thing. Try it for 1 week and see how it shifts you. Leo would like to join us in goodbye, but he's being a little rascal right now. Okay. If you can think of that, I would love it if you shared it below. What you're going to try, it could also help someone else come up with an idea. And next week when you come back to join me, you can come back to this post and share your experience. Do that in the comments on YouTube or join our Patreon community and we can discuss it there. Because we grow stronger when we share the journey together. Spiritual growth doesn't have to be overwhelming or require something groundbreaking and new. All it asks us to do is remember to return to root. It's like he's actually moving to purr in the microphone, in case you did not hear him. This rooting, this returning, this rediscovering, this is the vision of Rooted. And whether it's through this podcast, through Rooted meditation, if you listen to those, through Rooted crystals on Whatnot, reconnecting to the wisdom that has always been with us. That is the foundation, that is the goal, that's the vision. If this episode spoke to you, please share it, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss what's next. And come join us on Patreon, where there's even a free tier where I post content for all, including the free. I'd love to see you. Thank you for putting up with my stuffy voice and my obnoxious cat. Until next time, stay grounded, stay awake, stay rooted. Bye. Everything is connected. Energy, science, quantum physics.